funeral is about to begin, sir.
I think we just picked up Dracula. It's got a death curse!
Are they slow moving, Chief?
Yeah, they're dead. They're all messed up.
Welcome back to another episode of Never Not Horror. I am Steve Clark.
And I am Rich Hansel.
It is 2026 and we are back in action. We took a week off to start the year, but we are ready to roll now. I was chomping at the bit to get back over here and do this.
Yeah.
So we are ready to go. This is another deep dive episode. It is going to be episode number 19. So it is last deep dive was my pick when we went with Black Christmas. So kicking the year off with our first deep dive. Rich, it's your pick. And what movie are we going to deep dive?
We're going to do from 1984, A Nightmare on Elm Street.
A classic.
Absolutely.
Some might say an overdue deep dive.
Yeah.
Here we are, almost a 20 deep dive reviews, and we're just now getting to Nightmare on Elm Street. Just goes to show the plentiful amount of classic horror movies there are, because there's for the 19 that we've done or getting ready to do, there's 100 more that are just awesome that we haven't done yet. So good stuff. So yeah, the OG Nightmare on Elm Street. Excited to get into that. If you are new to the podcast, welcome. And we break our deep dive movie reviews down into 4 sections. We open up with our history with the movie, and then we will get into some fun fact, cast, crew, behind the scenes stuff. And then after that, we will get into a full plot walkthrough with spoilers. So if you have not seen A Nightmare on Elm Street from 1984, then you are going to want to pause the podcast at that point, go check it out. I actually had to buy it. I
had to buy it too.
I know for a fact that maybe at Halloween time, the whole series was, I think it was on HBO Max or something.
Yeah.
And then I went to watch it when you picked it, and it's like, where the fuck is it?
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't on sale either, so I ended up paying like $15 for the 4K version, which is fine. I'm happy to have it. So now I've got it in my digital library. But,
yeah.
So you may have to buy it, unless you got a VHS or a DVD laying around. Very available movie, though, so you can rent it, buy it, whatever you need to do. And anyway, so after you've seen it, come back, we'll walk through the plot and tell you what we think about it. And then at the end, we will give our official Never Not Horror Howls rating and review. As we do, whoever picked the movie will kick us off with their memories and history of the movie. So, Rich, what is your history with A Nightmare on Elm Street?
I've mentioned it on the podcast before that I saw it when it came out in 1984 at the Princess Theater in Oxford, Ohio, with a friend of mine named Todd Pavlisco, and we had to we went. My mom dropped us off, and we went in to buy the tickets, and we wasn't old enough. So luckily, I ran outside the theater before my mom had drove off, and she had to come back in and buy her tickets. We went in, watched the movie, and loved it. I can remember it being the talk of the schoolyard. Everybody wanted to see A Nightmare on Elm Street, and Todd and I were some of the first few to go see it in the school, and we were able to tell everybody what it was about and give absolute spoilers to people.
Right.
Like a couple assholes. But yeah, that's the first time I saw it, and again, really loved it. And I still watch it probably once a year, maybe twice a year, maybe. Definitely once during the Halloween season. But yeah, just Wes Craven, just a master with this movie. And I don't know if it's my favorite Wes Craven movie, but it's got to be right up there.
That would be, I think somewhere down the road, good quick cuts episode would be like a director spotlight where we do like a Wes Craven or a John Carpenter, or George Romero, that'd be fun to do. All right, where are you at on the sequels, the franchise Nightmare on Elm Street?
I do know I've seen them all. I don't remember all of them. I don't watch them enough. I know I didn't care for them nearly as much as the original.
Yeah.
Or the first one, I guess I should say. But so kind of the same way I am with Halloween. Like the first one, the second Halloween is pretty good. But after that, it's just downhill for me. That's kind of the same thing with A Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah, okay. All right. Well, for me, so this movie came out in 1984. I was born in 1983. So, but I did start watching horror movies young, and I would say, early 90s was when I started. So, I'm late 80s, early 90s. So, there were probably 4 or 5 Nightmare on Elm Streets out by then when I started watching it, and I think we had all of them, except for maybe part 2, recorded on VHS off a TV or something. So I'm sure the original was the first one that I watched. I can't imagine. It would have been my brother setting me up here. I can't imagine he would have had me watch them out of order. So I'm sure I saw the first one, but I loved Freddy as a kid. It's funny as an adult with your major horror icons like Freddy and Jason and Michael Myers. Nowadays, as an adult, I'm more of a Jason fan and a Leatherface fan than anything else.
Yeah.
But as a kid, I probably watched Nightmare on Elm Street movies just as much, if not more, than any of the others. It would have, if it was anything else, it would have been Friday the 13th. But they were neck and neck for me. And the first one is the scariest of them to me.
Yeah.
Because Freddy's got his kind of dark humor a little bit, but they just blow the lid off that in the sequels, and he becomes like this wisecracking one-line machine. Yeah, but as a kid, that was entertaining to me. So I watched the sequels a lot, up and through 5, and I agree with a lot of the horror community that part 3, The Dream Warriors, is my favorite sequel. I don't like it more than the original movie. I agree with you. I think the first one is the best one, but all of them had their moments. And then I do remember, this is just memories of the franchise as a whole. I went to the movies a shit ton with my brother, but I only remember ever going to the movie theater with my parents like 2 or 3 times ever.
Really?
We just didn't. They didn't go to the movies. But one of the times we did was to see Freddy's Dead, The Final Nightmare, Nightmare on Elm Street Part 6. And if you don't know, that movie's gimmick was the last 15 minutes was in 3D in the theater. So you got these, they handed out your 3D glasses when you went in. I'm going to say that movie was mid-90s, earlier mid-90s, so 94, 95 maybe. So I would have been 10, 11, 12 years old. So we go, and I'm a huge fan, and we go, and you get to the gimmick was they tell you when the person in the movie puts on their 3D glasses, that's when you put yours on. So they make this whole thing where I think it's a girl, puts her 3D glasses on in the movie. So everybody puts them on, and you get the normal 3D fun, like tropey shit.
Yeah.
But at the end, when they kill Freddy, he explodes, and there's like 6 Freddy heads that fan out and they spin, and it scared the bejesus out of me.
Did it really?
Yeah, like it was my first 3D experience, and I yanked those glasses off. Like, it messed me up. So it's not a good movie, but from what I recall, I haven't seen it in many, many years, but I do remember it not being one that I cared much for. But so I do have that memory. One of the few times going to the movies with my mom and dad was to see Freddy's Dead, The Final Nightmare.
So you saw Freddy's Dead, The Final Nightmare at the same age that I watched the original, basically.
It would have been
I was about
right around
10 or 11 or 12.
Right. Yeah, it would have been right around it. So, but yeah, it's Freddy Krueger is an absolute icon of horror. Robert Englund is just, there's no replacing him. They tried, and it was terrible.
It was awful.
For a multitude of reasons.
I love the way he embraces it, too. There might be some actors that shy away from a role that, they may not be the proudest of, but Robert
Right.
Englund, he jumps right into it, goes to the horror cons and signs autographs, and great. Seems like a great guy too, and he's really a Shakespeare trained actor.
Right,
He's not
like theater and stuff. Yeah,
theater, not like horror. But
he's he definitely. I mean, a lot of, like you were saying, a lot of times a role like that you're going to get typecast as that.
Yeah,
and he did in a sense, but I mean, like you said, he embraced it and just rolled with it, and he's an icon for it. So, so yeah, this is definitely one I grew up watching a lot, and the sequels. So, but interestingly enough, like I said, as an adult, I shifted more towards Texas Chainsaw Massacre and Friday the 13th, and I haven't revisited any of the sequels in probably 10, 15 years. I've watched the original a couple times here and there. I'll throw it on, but I haven't seen any of the sequels in a long time. So, and I really should revisit because
I think I should too.
Yeah, I think this podcast will make us do it eventually. So,
yeah.
but for now, we're only talking the original. So, so let's get into some behind the scenes and talk a little bit about who was involved and how things went down with Nightmare on Elm Street.
It's time for a history lesson.
All right, Rich, you want to kick us off?
Yeah, so A Nightmare on Elm Street was, of course, directed by Wes Craven, who had worked directed The Hills Have Eyes and The Last House on the Left and The Swamp Thing. So
I did not know he directed Swamp Thing.
He had a lot of horror movies that he had done before this one, but they were more, I guess, exploitation horror, really, with The Last House on the Left and The Hills Have Eyes. So this was his first more mainstream horror movie, I guess you'd say. It released on November 16th, 1984. That would have made me 11 years old. Or I had just turned 12. I would have just turned 12, I believe. Stars Heather Langenkamp.
Mm-hmm.
Robert Englund, of course, who we touched on.
Yep.
Johnny Depp.
Johnny Depp in his debut role.
Yeah, how
very
about that?
First credit.
Ronnie Blakely, who plays Nancy's mom.
Mm-hmm.
And John Saxon, of course.
Saxon. Back-to-back deep dives for us. And we didn't even... Well, actually, I meant to ask you that. When we watched Black Christmas and he was in that, is that what gave you the idea to do Nightmare on Elm Street next?
I don't know. Maybe
it was like a subliminal message.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, John Saxon, he plays Nancy's dad, or lead lady. And Nick Corey plays Rod, and Amanda Weiss, I think, Weiss plays Tina. Music was done by Charles Bernstein. And looking him up, he doesn't have a whole lot of known credits to his name as far as scores go, but iconic one with this one, with that, that riff that we all know from A Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yep. And Wes Craven, he had those gritty credits, like cult classic horror things now. This was really the big mainstream explosion, but then he would go on to have quite a prolific career in horror, but maybe none more so like stratosphere popular than Scream.
Yeah, that had to be a big one.
Yeah, for sure. When I was looking at like the trivia and the fun fact stuff, I did see the company that produced the movie New Line Cinema. This was only their second movie, and the first one bombed. And ended up going straight to video, or after a very limited theatrical run. So they very nearly went bankrupt. So
wow, this one
and
pulled them up.
The massive success of Nightmare on Elm Street basically saved New Line Cinema from bankruptcy. Yeah. And I read that it's been jokingly referred that New Line Cinema is the house that Freddy built.
I did see that the box office for the first weekend alone was $1.1 million.
Damn, in 1984?
The first weekend.
That's really good.
Yeah.
You're right. Well, what was the budget since we're already hitting that?
The budget for the movie was $1 million.
So they made it back in that opening weekend.
In 2 days. Well, maybe they count Friday and Saturday and Sunday.
Right, probably.
But yeah. But
Damn.
the total box office was $57 million.
Nice.
So they really made some money on that when it took $1 million to make and made $57 million.
Yeah, that's definitely good. Heather Langenkamp she to me is one of the greats of the final girls. She does really well. She reprises her role in the third movie in Dream Warriors and in Wes Craven's New Nightmare, which I actually think I've only ever seen that one time.
I have too, and I don't remember much about it, but a lot of people hold it really high.
Yeah, I know. That's one for sure I need to rewatch because I know it's like a meta take on to where like she's playing herself in like the fame of Nightmare on Elm Street, and then Freddy comes into the real reality per se.
I think Wes Craven's in the movie too.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
I watched it when it came out, and then I don't think I've ever seen it since. But so yeah, she is fantastic. Obviously Robert Englund, we've talked about that. I mean, just what more can you say, really? An immortal performance that would just go down in history at this point. There's a ton of fun like trivia stuff about this movie.
Yeah.
Okay, well this one's fun. Talking about Heather Langenkamp though, according to IMDb's trivia, she beat out over 200 actresses for the role.
Really?
That included Jennifer Grey.
Yeah. Dirty Dancing.
Yep. Demi Moore.
Wow.
Courtney Cox, Tracy Gold, and Claudia Wells.
Yeah, I think they made the right choice.
Oh yeah,
I'm trying to picture all those other women in that
it's
role.
So hard to do.
Work.
Like when you've seen something so many times, it's hard to imagine somebody else in that role. So.
Right. But she does do an amazing job.
Right.
And there's probably some actors in here that hindsight's 2020. I would cast a different way. There is a few that aren't as good as the rest.
Yeah. I think some of the stuff I was most interested in and the trivia stuff I was reading was how they did some of the effects was pretty cool. Like we'll get into spoilers, but there's a scene where Tina and Rod are early in the movie when Freddy attacks her in her dream, and Rod wakes up and she's like flipping around on the ceiling and stuff. They did that with a rotating set.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
That's wild.
So and because of like budgetary restraints, like it wasn't automatic. Like they had to manually rotate the set. And there's a scene where she's on the ceiling and she's reaching for Rod, her boyfriend, and he's like reaching up to her. So when they filmed it, I just thought this was interesting from just a nerd perspective. She was on the floor and he was like on the ceiling, and they had to like glue his hair down so that his hair would lay flat. So it looked like and they just had the camera upside down.
Yeah.
So to make it look like she was on the roof. But just cool. Like the scene with Johnny Depp when we're getting into spoiler territory. So when things happen for him, they use that same rotating set again.
Okay.
And we'll talk more about that when we get to that in the walkthrough. But there's a scene, just little bits of like, there's a scene where Heather Langenkamp is running and she in real life cut her foot on something.
Oh yeah.
And then apparently it's in the movie, like she's running outside and she runs back in the house and you can see that she's limping when she goes back in the house because she actually cut her foot on the set. Then apparently like in a little bit later scene when she's going upstairs, if you're like eagle-eyed viewing, you can actually see the bandage on her foot where they had to bandage her up.
Nice.
So, little stuff like that. There's a really famous early scene where Freddy's in an alley and his arms are super long.
Yep.
That is, they did that with, Robert Englund has puppet arms attached on him, but there's guys on either side of the alley with fishing poles that are holding the, like, fishing line holding those puppet arms.
Yeah, so that's wild.
It's just the stuff they do, and then it looks so good on camera.
It does.
It sounds like it'd be fun.
Yeah.
Just being involved in that kind of stuff would be a good time, I feel like. Okay, well, Rotten Tomatoes, let's talk ratings on. They're really good. So the tomato meter critic score is 94.
Dang.
That's
That's a lot higher than I thought it'd
That's
be.
one of the highest ones we've
Yeah.
had. And that's with 70 reviews, so that's consistently high. And the popcorn fan meter is 84. So it's still very good. So 94 and 84 is one of the better reviewed movies that we've done on Rotten Tomatoes.
For sure.
I think that pretty much covers the gist of the foundation of a franchise that'll last a very long time, I'm sure. I mean, Freddy Krueger is just in the pantheon of horror villains. And
it's probably a matter of time where they remake, the whole series again.
So you did watch the remake, right?
I did.
Yeah.
I as much as I could. I was kind of in and out, and it wasn't good at all. I didn't like that guy. He looked weird.
Yeah, the makeup throws the whole thing off. It's hard to even give it a fair shake because he doesn't look like Freddy.
Right.
It's just too different.
Yeah. And that's a thing that you got to think about when you make a movie like this because, you got Halloween, you can use anybody.
Yeah.
Because he wears a mask.
Yeah, and same with
Friday 13th. He wears a mask. You can use anybody. But
yep, you just need a big
Freddy
guy.
Krueger, I mean, you got to get somebody that's either a super good actor.
Right.
Super good actor.
Even though he had all the prosthetics and the makeup on, but like some of his face is still there.
You can tell.
Yeah, so I mean, when you see Robert Englund without the makeup, you can still see Freddy Krueger in there. And
it's going to be hard for somebody to do that unless they put a mask on him.
Right. Or God forbid CGI his face.
Yeah, they can't do CGI. I hope not.
Yeah. All right. Well, this is going to be the point. If you have not seen A Nightmare on Elm Street and you're listening to Never Not Horror, that's unusual. But if you have not seen it, you're going to want to pause the podcast and go check it out. You can rent it, buy it on Amazon Prime and all the places. Unpaid ad for Fandango at Home, formerly known as Vudu. That's the one I buy most of my digital movies on, but go check it out. And then come back and we'll walk you through and let you know what we think. So here we go.
Come along now, if you're not too scared.
All right, Rich, kick us off with Nightmare on Elm Street.
All right. Our movie starts with, I don't know what kind of camera is that you think they're using there? 8mm or something?
It looks really grainy.
Yeah, grainy and smaller than your screen is.
Yeah.
Almost like a home movie, but they're making a glove with the knives on it. And we hear some creepy music and some laughing, breathing. And it's in a makeshift like workshop kind of, it feels like.
Mm-hmm.
And then we get the final product, and it is the iconic glove that we all know from A Nightmare on Elm Street with the knives on the ends of the fingers. And then the glove just cuts through a piece of fabric, and then we see a girl in a hallway. Mm-hmm. And it's almost dreamlike because you saw the movie, right? Mm-hmm. Everybody's watched the movie.
Right.
We know this is a dream.
Yes.
And she's walking through this, and it feels like a dream. They had to have talked to dream experts on this. It's got something.
It's got that dream logic feel.
Just does. Nothing makes sense.
Yeah, right. Like, what's that lamb doing in here?
Yeah, you get the lamb, and she's just walking through this like factory place, and we get that iconic music from that Charles Bernstein did, and we hear someone calling the girl's name, Dina.
You do a very good Freddy Krueger.
And the girl, she stops, and then we get the sheep, and then some crazy laughter. And it's that Freddy Krueger laughter that we know.
Yep.
And she continues through the factory, and we get glimpses of the pursuer, which is really good the first time you see it. You do see him, but flashes of it. You don't get a close-up look. You kind of get the back of his sweater or his hat or a shadow. Yeah. And I really like the way Wes Craven did that.
Yeah. Real quick, that reminds me of a fun fact that I should have mentioned a few minutes ago, to the point where how they flash him and they don't show him real close right away. This is a 90-minute typical movie. Freddy Krueger has 7 minutes of screen time in this movie.
Holy cow.
Yeah, he's only actually on camera for 7 minutes.
Damn. That's amazing. So, Tina, she comes to her room and she sees Freddy. She runs away with Freddy following her, and she gets to a dead end, and she lets out this scream, and the killer turns away. She walks forward a little bit, and then that's when we get kind of our first jump scare. He comes up from below and grabs her. Still don't get a good look at it. It's kind of like silhouette look at Freddy here. Now we know it's a dream because Tina sits up in bed and she's screaming, scared, just had this bad nightmare that we got to see. And her mom comes in, asks her what's the matter, and she said, I had a bad dream. But when the mom looks at her, she says, well,
you got to quit having those kind of dreams.
Yeah. Or clip your fingernails, she says.
Yeah. Yeah. And she holds her nightgown up, and there's like 4 slashes across the belly of her nightgown.
Yeah. So now we kind of see these young girls, and again, it looks kind of dreamlike, and these 4 or 5 girls are playing jump rope, and they're singing our iconic song,
Mm-hmm.
1, 2, Freddy's coming for you.
Yep.
And the camera pans over, and we see a car pull up, and it's our 4 young stars of the movie, including Johnny Depp and Heather Langenkamp, and they are parking to go to school. Tina is telling the other girls, or the other girl and the friend, I guess there's not 4 yet.
No.
Rod's not in the car. He pops up later.
Johnny Depp's character is Glenn.
Okay. Glenn, Tina, and Heather.
Yeah. Or no. Heather is
Heather
Nancy.
Langenkamp. Yeah. Nancy. Yeah, my bad. They pull up, and she's telling Nancy and Glenn about her dream and how it's really messing with her. At this point, Nancy says that she has had a dream too, and they kind of put things together, and it's a little bit
like they're having similar dreams.
Yeah, similar dreams, and it's not, something's going on here. But as they're walking down the sidewalk, Rod, which is Tina's boyfriend, jumps out and scares them. And
he looks like he just came straight from auditioning for The Outsiders.
Yeah, he does. They have a few words, and they get mad, and he leaves. Well, I can't remember what the hell he said.
He's a punk.
I can't remember what he says.
I don't either, but
he said he had a hard on. Because they said they all had dreams, and he said, I had a hard on this morning, and it had your name. Yeah, that's what he said. Had your name written all over it, Tina. Yeah. And it was kind of a funny thing. She says, well, my name has 4 letters in it, and I don't know how 4 letters would fit on that little thing.
Nice.
That was pretty good.
Sick burn.
Yeah. So he gets mad and walks away. So now we got the 3 kids, and they're talking about how the dreams just seem so real. So school day went on, nothing happens. We go back to Tina's house, and her mom is out of town for 2 days. So Glenn and Nancy are coming over, and they're going to hang out with her because she's having these dreams, and they want to kind of keep her company. She's a little bit nervous about everything. So they are there, Glenn and Nancy, and the mom is out of town, like I mentioned. So they all plan a scheme to be able to stay the night with her and get around their parents' rules. And I guess we should point out that Glenn lives right across the street.
Yeah.
From Nancy, but they're not at Nancy's house at this point.
Right.
They're at Tina's house. Yeah. Tina tells Nancy that she's been seeing the guy in her dreams and hearing his fingernails kind of a screeching across metal, like knives, and it is creepy. And Nancy, she says she's been having that same dream, and they talk about the glove with the knives on it. Glenn hears a noise outside, and it does sound like the screeching. Yep. So they all get nervous, and Glenn, of course, being the guy of the house, he decides to go out and investigate. They walk out and keep hearing that quick screeching noise, and all of a sudden Rod jumps out and tackles Glenn, and it's just a big joke by Glenn. But once you watch it and you know what you're looking at, and I don't even know if I put this together until we've been doing this for the podcast, watching the film for the podcast. he knows what that sound is because he's having that dream too.
Yeah.
And I don't think
Yeah.
I ever put that together until.
Yeah. Yeah. He mentions in a little bit here, he mentions something to Tina about all of us will stop having nightmares, but he won't talk about, but yeah. I mean, it's a coincidence to them, but once we know later that he's having the nightmares too, like it all connects.
It's awesome how they do that, and little things that you can pick up, like 3rd, 4th, 5th, 10th, 12th, 100th time you've seen it.
57th time.
So Tina and Rod, they go into the house to fool around. He finds out the parents are gone, and they have a little bit of fun. And Rod reveals to Tina that he's been having nightmares, but he doesn't want to talk about it.
Yep.
He doesn't say anything about the knives or Freddy Krueger or anything. Now we're in Nancy's room at Tina's house where she's staying, and the crucifix falls off the wall. She's laying in the bed, crucifix falls off, and it's kind of like my walls right here, these vaulted ceilings.
Yep.
And
that I bonk my head on all the time.
Yeah. And so that kind of wakes her up. So it hits her. She looks at the cross and kind of just tucks it back in. As she slowly falls back to sleep, we get the iconic scene where Freddy comes through the drywall, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like it's crazy looking, but it is, and I can remember seeing that in a theater and just being freaked out with it.
Yeah,
he comes in, and you just see his hands and his face, but you don't see the hands. It's the shape coming through,
like
kind of rubber, like.
Yeah, I'm wanting to say in the trivia stuff I read, it was latex or something, but and it wasn't actually Robert Englund, it was a stunt double, but it was like, it was like, I think it said it was latex or something.
Yeah, and that was right over top of Nancy, so
you see his profile forming into the wall and pushing out,
and he slowly goes back, and then she wakes up again, and she kind of looks at the wall. Obviously she was dreaming this. And she knocks on the wall or ceiling. She does hang the crucifix back up. So now we're back into Tina's bedroom where she is with Rod in the bed. And Rod's asleep and there's some pebbles hitting the window. And she hears her name being whispered. So she goes outside to see what the heck's going on. We hear her name being called again by Freddy Krueger. And she sees a shadow of a man in her nightmares. Once she gets outside, and he's walking towards her and laughing, and we see his scarred face for the first time. And I think this is about 30 minutes in to the movie when you get the real good look at him.
Right.
And she says, I always remember this, she says, "Please God." And Freddy says, he pulls up his glove and says, "This is God." It was pretty crazy.
Yeah.
She turns to run away, and somehow when she turns and runs, she runs right into Freddy.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, it's his dream. So now she runs back to the house, and the man yells. She turns, and he says, "Watch this," and he pulls up his hand, and he cuts those 2 fingers off with his other.
And like green juice shoots out of him.
Yeah, it was awesome. After that, he grabs Tina, and they have this little struggle, and she reaches up and grabs his face, and you get that scene too where she pulls the skin off of Freddy's face, which that's pretty neat. She starts screaming. Rod gets woken up by the screams, and Tina's just being cut to shreds. But Rod, he can't see Freddy. He can only see, because it's not his dream. Right. He's seeing her having
He's
a
awake
dream.
now.
He's awake now, yep. All the screaming woke him up, and blood's going everywhere. And Nancy and Glenn, they get woken up from all this screaming, and they run to the door, but it's locked and they can't get in. They're hollering for Rod to unlock the door, and Tina is dead now.
Right. And through this whole thing, like, this is where she's like lifted up to the ceiling and she's rolling around on the ceiling. The room is getting painted in blood. And Rod is like, what the fuck is going on? Because he's just watching her flail around like a fish on the ceiling. And yeah.
So Rod, he goes out the window.
Right.
And Glenn and Nancy finally get in, and he's gone, and they see Tina's dead body.
Mm-hmm.
So now we go to the police station, and here we learn that Nancy's dad is the police lieutenant, and he comes into the police station, goes into his office where his wife or his ex-wife and daughter are for questioning, of course, for the murder.
John Saxon it's kind of like the all-time quarterback in backyard football. Like John Saxon is always the cop. All-time cop.
Yeah. So he is upset. He wants to know why his daughter was even sleeping over at a friend's house where no parents are around with other two kids.
With boys.
Yeah, of course. And especially one like the lunatic Rod.
Mm-hmm.
Because now...
Right. I mean, he's suspect number one now.
Yeah.
Because he did basically... Well, I mean, he was kind of fucked either way. But he didn't help himself by running. So now he looks super guilty.
Right. He probably should have stayed right there.
I mean, he would have looked super guilty then too. So I mean, he really had. So I guess I understand running, but because he was damned if you do, damned if you don't. But
so Nancy insists to her dad that Rod isn't a lunatic, and she tells her mom and dad that Tina dreamed that this was going to happen to her, and just making up this. If you didn't know what was going on, it would be nonsense.
Right.
She explained that's why I was over there to keep Tina company because she's been having awful nightmares.
Right.
So we cut scene there. Now Nancy is walking to school, and she gets jumped by Rod, who pulls her into some bushes. Not jumped really, but grabbed by her, pulled into some bushes. And he tells Nancy that he swears that he didn't kill Tina and that there was somebody else in there, but he couldn't see him. And you can see that she believes him a little bit, but maybe not 100%. She's still
she's got her doubts.
Yeah.
But I mean, he's also her friend, even though he's a doucher. But so I mean, she doesn't want to believe that he would kill Tina like that.
So now that when Rod gets Nancy and they're kind of bent behind the bushes, all of a sudden Nancy's dad pops up, our lieutenant.
Yep.
And he has a gun, and he has it pointed at Rod. So they've been doing stakeouts, try to catch him.
Right.
When
they were all. It almost appears like they were used. Well, she even says, "You used me." Like,
yeah, she does.
Like she was like bait to lure him in.
Right. So Rod does run, and he gets away from her dad because she stands in front of her dad, and he can't believe it, but he does eventually get caught. There's like
seven other cops in the road,
and they arrest Rod for the murder of Tina.
Yep.
So, and they also find a switchblade on him, which all the cuts on Tina were like from blades.
Right.
So now we get Nancy in class. And she hasn't slept in a day or two, and she's really, really tired. So she's in the back of the class at her desk, and she's dozing off as the teacher's giving a lecture, and she starts dreaming.
You know who the teacher is?
I do know her. Was she
is
in Something About Mary?
No, she might have been. She was in. She's in a bunch of the Insidious movies.
Oh, she is, isn't she?
Yeah. But I know her really famously from the movie Kingpin with Randy Quaid and Woody Harrelson.
Yeah.
She's the nasty old landlord.
Yeah, she does that.
Yes.
That is crazy.
That's her. Yeah. She's very young as the teacher.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember what her name is. I was looking it up here, but go ahead.
So she falls asleep, and now she starts dreaming, and she looks over and sees a bloody Tina standing in the hall in a body bag. Pretty disturbing.
It is gross.
Scene.
That scene, that was one, when I was a kid, that was one of the creepier scenes where like she's laying in the hallway and there's the blood trail and then the feet lift up in the body bag and drags away, but you don't see who's pulling her.
Yeah. So that happens when she gets up to go see Tina in the body bag. She follows this bloody mark where she's been drugged all the way down the hall.
Lynn Shay is the actress that plays the teacher.
So Nancy walks after, and she runs into a girl, and it's a pretty good scene because she runs into this different girl, but she's got Freddy Krueger's sweater on.
Yeah, the green and red stripe.
Yeah, and she asks,
"Where's your hall pass?"
Ask Nancy what her hall pass.
Doesn't she say, "Fuck your hall pass"?
Yeah,
dude?
she does. Fuck your hall pass. So Nancy goes on, and she ends up going into the basement to the boiler room of the school. And there she sees Freddy. He pulls up his shirt and he cuts his stomach open. We see all those maggots roll out of his shirt. So she runs with Freddy now chasing her, and he's clicking his knives and laughing and yelling for her. And she gets cornered, and she starts saying, "It's only a dream. It's only a dream." And she touches her arm to a hot pipe, and that wakes her up in her classroom, and that's where she is now. She's back in her classroom. She's screaming. All her classmates turn around like, "What the hell's wrong with this lady?"
Right.
So the teacher comes back, and she says, "I'll call your parents." She says, "No, I'm out of here." So she just leaves school. So once she leaves the school, she looks down and realizes that she does indeed have a burn mark on her hand, which happened in her dream.
Yep.
So she can be hurt in a dream and bring it
Right.
out with her. Nancy now goes to visit Rod in jail. She wants to talk to him about what happened, and so she goes into kind of a visitor room, and Rod says he knows that somebody was there, but he didn't see him, and he saw the cuts on the body like 4 razors cutting at the same time, and he thought it was a nightmare that from the night before. And now Nancy says, "Oh shit, you've been having the same nightmare as Tina and I have been having." So now Nancy, she goes and tells Rod that she does not think that he killed Tina. So that's kind of a relief from Rod, although the cops still think he did.
Right. Doesn't carry much weight that she believes him.
Yeah. So she leaves the jail cell now that she knows a little more what's going on. So now she's back at her home, and she is in a bathtub. And again, another iconic scene.
This is a classic.
She's in the tub, and she's leaned back, and she's falling asleep. And all of a sudden, the glove comes up with the knives in between her legs.
Yep.
And then I think her mom knocks on the door, and then the glove goes down because it wakes her up from her dream, luckily.
Right.
And
for the time being.
Yeah, she says, don't fall asleep. People die in the tub all the time. I've told you that.
If only she knew.
So now the mom walks away, and again, she starts dozing off. And this time, she's pulled under the water, and it is a crazy, crazy scene. It's like, of course, it's a dream, and you can dream about anything, but when she gets pulled over under the tub, it's like super deep, and you can see him grabbing for her, and she's swimming in the tub.
Yeah.
And
that was one in the notes that I read that the bathroom set was built on top of a swimming pool.
Oh, it was?
Yeah, so that's
how they
did that. And yeah, so they built it on top of a pool so that they could be underneath it, and so basically making it a bottomless tub.
Yeah. So her mom unlocks the door after a big, long struggle and wakes up Nancy from her dream. And again, she's screaming and kind of doesn't know where she is, and her mom calms her down. And she tells her mom that she just slipped and she's okay. She didn't want to admit that she's having these dreams to her mom. And she was just getting out of the tub, slipped. So now she goes to bed. And if you notice that she's watching a movie, she's sitting in bed just watching a movie because she don't want to sleep. Did you notice what she's watching?
The Evil Dead?
The Evil Dead, yes.
Yep.
She is watching The Evil Dead.
Now, do you know the backstory behind why?
No, I think just probably.
So this is just a fun behind the scenes thing between Wes Craven and Tobe Hooper, or not Tobe Hooper, Sam Raimi.
Sam Raimi.
Yeah, sorry, wrong iconic director. So there is a scene in The Evil Dead where there is a poster for The Hills Have Eyes on the wall.
Oh, really?
And because they did that as like a nod that he knew that, he had her watching Evil Dead and Nightmare on Elm Street.
That's pretty cool. So
Yeah.
they kind of gave each other
It was like giving each
nod
other
of the head.
little bonus promos.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
So Nancy opens her window, and I think she's just getting fresh air, but when she opens it, Glenn's there. He's getting ready to climb in because he does, like I mentioned, live across the street.
Right.
And he said he came over because he saw her light on and he wanted to talk to her. And Nancy asked Glenn if he thinks people dream about things to come. And he doesn't really answer, I don't think. So they make a plan to catch Freddy, and the screen fades out.
And I feel like they've, throughout their, Johnny Depp's character, Glenn, has, like, he's having dreams too, but he's, more than any of them, like, really resistant to buying that this means anything.
Right.
It's just dreams. Like, he's trying to write it all
He
off.
hasn't let them know.
Right.
So as far as Nancy knows,
he's
it
like
was just Tina and Rod.
He's the biggest naysayer of the bunch, like just refusing to believe it.
Right. So when the screen fades back in, Nancy, she's leaving the house. Now we don't know exactly. She did say what the plan was, that, and we don't know. They don't let the viewer know that it is what it is. She's going to fall asleep.
Like, we just know she's up to something.
Yeah, and she tells him that she needs to have him watch her. Yeah. So we see Nancy walking outside now, and she's walking along the sidewalk, and she's looking for someone, and she turns and asks Glenn if he's still watching, and Glenn
he
pops out and says, yeah.
Like, I got you. It's just that goofy dream logic, but yeah.
So he goes back to hiding, and she continues on, and she goes to the jail and looks into Rod's cell and sees Freddy walk into Rod's actual cell. She's looking at the cell through the outside bars, kind of a window, and sees Freddy go in there, and she starts calling out to Glenn, but no response, of course, and Freddy jumps out and chases her back to the house. She runs up to her bedroom and sees that Glenn is asleep.
Yep.
So he is fast asleep sitting in a chair, and the alarm goes off, and Glenn wakes up, and after this long struggle between Freddy and Nancy, and he sees Nancy having a bad nightmare, and all of a sudden the alarm goes off, and that wakes Nancy up, and she's pissed off because Glenn fell asleep. She's mad at him.
He had one job.
He had one job to do, watch me, and if I struggle, you need to wake me up, and obviously he fell asleep. So now Nancy's mom, she calls through the door, and Glenn, he hides outside the window, and her mom comes in, and Nancy tells her that she just had a dream and everything's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now Nancy and Glenn head to the jail because in her dream, she saw when Freddy did walk in there, and they tell the jailer that we need to see Rod in his cell, and we see his sheets moving while they're out in the lobby talking to the jailer or the police officers.
Right.
And the
because
sheets,
Rod is asleep.
Rod fell asleep, of course, and the sheets are moving up, and they kind of grab around his neck, and then they
snaking around him.
And it's pretty good special effects there. And it grabs him and pulls him up and hangs him. So he's struggling, and finally he's dead. So at this point, the jailer finally says, okay, and they go in and they see Rod hanging there, and they pull him off of the sheet, hanging off the ceiling, and get him down. And her dad comes in, Nancy's dad comes in, he kind of takes the pulse, and he's dead.
Yep.
Now we have 2 dead kids. So now we're at Rod's funeral, and Nancy tells her dad that the killer is still on the loose, and that she doesn't know who he is, but she describes him, and her mom is standing there too, and we get a weird look between Nancy's mom and her dad, like more than you're out of your mind, what are you talking about, but more like, oh shit, that kind of look. And when you see this several times, you see it, But the first time through, it's hard to.
Right. I mean, there's a look between them, but yeah, like it's definitely a thing that once you know, it's a lot more obvious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's something you probably won't pick up the first time you see it, but you will.
You could pass that off as just she's losing her mind, like a look between concerned parents or something.
Yeah. And I don't know if that. I think it probably, thinking about it, it would have been better to know a little bit more as the viewer.
Yeah.
Because when I was 11 years old, I had no idea that's what was going on. It wasn't until a lot later that I finally realized that they were looking at each other because we find out later in the movie.
You're right.
So she leaves with her mom, and she takes her straight to a sleep clinic. And they want to get to the bottom of this and see why she's having all these dreams. And they hook her up to all the wires and little things and to read brain activity. And they put her in a room and monitor sleep pattern.
Yep.
And her mom stays there, and the doctor are watching her, and everything looks normal at first, but suddenly Nancy, she starts having dreams, and her numbers start going off the charts, and the sleep doctor, oh man, I've never seen anything like this. And so they go in and wake her up, and they just can't believe what just happened, and they want to give her a shot, like a sedative, and she pushes the doctor away, because she doesn't want to go to sleep, because that's where she's going. She knows that's
worst case scenario, like medically putting her to sleep.
Yeah. So then they kind of grab her by her arms, and they see the cuts on her arms. She had actually got cut in this dream.
Yep.
And it looks like 4 cuts right on her forearm, kind of. And again, we see a look of surprise and dread on her mom's face, because when she pulls up this hat, and it is Freddy's hat.
Like a fedora.
Yeah, and she says, I brought this back with me, and her mom has another look like, oh shit, where in the hell did you get that? And we cutscene. Now we're back home at Nancy's house, and she's kind of walking into the room where her mom is, and her mom's on the phone having a conversation with somebody. I assume it's probably the dad.
Yeah.
But she's talking about this hat, and it's all, you only hear one side of the conversation, which is her mom's side of the conversation. And she says, I don't know where she got the hat, but she has it, and I just don't know. And she kind of hides the hat when Nancy walks in.
Yep.
She also has a bottle of liquor that she's hiding.
Yeah. So I can't remember if they really tease it much throughout up to this point, but I think her mom is a bit of a drunk, and she's frequently drinking. She's drinking all the time, I think. And throughout the movie, I don't know if Wes Craven asked her to act drunk, but she seems off. I don't know if she's not a great actor, or if he said, be weird. No, I think it's like that, just slow, like slurring drunkenness.
Yeah,
like I think
that's
she's
kind of what I
that.
get. So Nancy asked her mom if her dad had the hat examined, and she says no. I threw the hat away, and Nancy tells her that someone's trying to kill her and her friends in their dreams. And mom says it's not possible. And Nancy pulls the hat out of the drawer where her mom hid it, and she says that the hat has his name in it. And this is the first time we hear the name.
We've referred to him multiple times as Freddy Krueger, but in the movie, he's not been named yet.
The first time we hear that she says the hat has his name in it, Fred Krueger. And Nancy thinks her mom knows something because the way she looks.
Yeah.
And her mom says, Fred Krueger can't come after you anymore because he's dead. Just trust me. And her mom tells her that just having nightmares and that she's sick. And Nancy storms out, meets up with Glenn. I think her mom even smacks her in the face at this point.
Yeah.
Or is that later in the movie?
I think it's now.
Yeah, smacks her right in the face. So not only is she an alcoholic, she's also abusive.
Yeah, right.
And I guess you can kind of see why her mom and dad are divorced now. There's obviously problems there.
Yep.
So Nancy storms out, and she meets up with Glenn, and Glenn says that he's been reading up about dreams, and he says, well, if you're dreaming and you deny that the dream is real, then whatever you're dreaming about will disappear and your dream be over. He read it in a book. I don't know if it was monks or something, but it was old time people talking about dreams in this book that he rented from the library. So you kind of, that comes up later in the film. So Nancy goes back home and sees that her windows are now barred up, and her mom's barred every window up in the house. I mean, even the little one that at the front door, she's barred them up. And even the trellis that Glenn kind of climbs up to her bedroom, that's pulled off of the house and laying in the yard. And she, her mom tells her to come down to the cellar, and she'll tell her everything. She's going to come clean.
Yeah.
So this is a good scene. She starts telling Nancy that Freddy Krueger was a child murderer who killed at least 20 kids in the neighborhood. It doesn't say, I don't think it says how long ago, but it had to have been 10 or 12 years ago, 15. Yeah. But she says he was caught by police, but got off on a technicality because somebody didn't sign the right warrant or something.
Right, some bullshit. Yep, got him off.
Yeah, so Fred Krueger, the child murderer, he walks free. So a bunch of the parents in town decided to hunt him down and kill him.
Yep.
So they do hunt him down. They find him in an old abandoned boiler room. And it's the place where he used to take his victims, she says. And they lit the boiler room on fire and burned Freddy up. So Freddy can't come back and hurt you, she says. Then she reaches up into it's an old wood burner or something that's in her cellar and pulls out
the glove.
Freddy Krueger's glove. And, Nancy's kind of taken aback about it.
I know it doesn't matter, but just in the nitpickies and like, how come she was the keeper of the glove?
Yeah, I don't know.
Who made that call? Like, I'm going to stuff this in the stove in my basement.
Because they said they pulled it away from Freddy before they lit the boiler room on fire. And that's how she got the glove. So
it's just one of those things like...
Yeah, there's a bunch of parents. It's like the parents of all the kids, they said.
Right.
In the neighborhood. And... So there had to be a bunch of parents.
Yeah,
and
I just wonder what the process was deciding who has to hide this in their house. Not it.
So now we're back and with Nancy and Glenn. Nancy calls Glenn and tells him that she now knows who the man in her dreams are, and she kind of tells a story what her mom told her. And so the two are going to make up a big plan and to get Freddy out of the dreams and kill him once and for all. So that night, Nancy's phone rings, and when she answers it, she hears a screeching sound on the other end, and she pulls the phone out of the wall and just breaks the cord.
Yep.
And she puts it on her bed, and then the phone rings again, and it's pulled out of the cord. I don't know if a lot of people remember the phones and the cord thing were kind of
used to be tied to the wall. Yeah.
So it's ringing.
Just walk around with it.
It's ringing, and it shouldn't be ringing. So she picks it up, and this is a nice scene here where she's got the phone to her ear and the mouth part up to her mouth, and it's Freddy's mouth, and it licks her lips. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
So she throws the phone down, and now she wants to go over to Glenn's house, and where he has fallen asleep, but her mom locked the door, and of course, we know her windows are all barred up, and her mom is her mom on the couch at this point and says they're all locked.
Yeah.
You can't go nowhere.
Right.
So
she's drunk on the couch.
Yeah, so Nancy, she is pissed now, but
I think she tries to call Glenn.
She calls Glenn, and her mom, or his mom, answers, and the dad is there too, and he says, ask her what this is all about, and she just says that she needs to talk to Glenn, and the dad grabs the phone and says, my son's not going to be seeing you no more, and hangs up the phone.
Right. He's asleep. You can talk to him tomorrow.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
And he just says, you got to be tough with these kids.
And then he was like, as a matter of fact, and then he leaves the phone off the hook so that she can't call back.
She can't call back. So Glenn is over there all alone. And their plan, the plan is supposed to be tonight, so this is Not good for
No.
Nancy.
Nope. Not good for Glenn either, it turns out.
So now we see Glenn up in his bedroom, and he has fallen asleep. He starts dreaming. And he gets pulled into his mattress. And this is our big iconic kill. Probably the most iconic kill in the movie, I think. I'm kind of partial to Tina's kill.
Yeah.
I like that one, but a lot of people talk about
You could
this
argue for one or the other. But
yeah, but he gets pulled down through a hole in his mattress.
Yeah.
And a big struggle comes on. You don't see anything, but then all of a sudden the hole opens up and just blows blood all over the ceiling.
Yeah.
And this is the scene you was kind of talking about.
Yeah, where they use that rotating set again. Yeah.
And the blood just falls,
Yeah,
pushes to the ceiling.
Fun fact on that. It was supposed to be, I think the first time they shot it, because they had to, it was just water with food coloring in it to make it ready, because to make it spray like that, it just had to be water. So it was supposed to blow down. Well, the room was supposed to be upside down, and then the water would just blow down out of it. But when they were rotating the room, when they did it fucked up, and the blood sprayed out of the room, like at the cameras, and it like shorted out power, and they had to like redo the whole thing. So a little fun fact that I read there, but
and it must have been 200 gallons of blood that comes out of that hole.
I read that he took inspiration from the scene in The Shining with the elevator.
Oh, really?
On that,
yeah. So if you've seen that, you know what we're talking about. So now Glenn is dead, and of course the paramedics and the police all come over to Glenn's house, and Nancy is watching all of this from her house. She can't come over because, again, she's locked in. Her windows are barred up.
Yep.
So she calls over there, and because she sees her dad at the scene. So she calls over, and somebody answers, and she says, I need to talk to my dad, Lieutenant Thompson. So a cop comes in and says, hey, you got a phone call with your daughter. Now on the phone with her dad, she's talking all kinds of, I would have been like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
But she says that it's Freddy that's killing everybody, and she tells him that she can catch him with his help, and she says just to come over to the house in 20 minutes and she'll have Freddy there for him to catch. And I think he just kind of agrees to get her off the line so she don't freak out no more.
Right. Fun fact insert. When she says, I read this, I didn't know this, but I read it. When she tells her dad to come and wake her up in 20 minutes, there's exactly 20 minutes left in the movie.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, awesome. So now Nancy starts setting up all these booby traps. It's kind of like Home Alone. I mean, all kinds of stuff. And she had a book we did see earlier in the movie that was all about booby traps. Because I remember Glenn saying something about booby traps.
Right. It goes very Home Alone, right?
Yeah, it does. So, she's setting all these booby traps so when she brings Freddy into the real world, she can run from him and lure him into all these booby traps throughout the house.
Yep. Because now, we're learning now that's the plan. Like we know that she can bring things back over from the dream world because of the hat. So now she's got this idea that she can bring him through.
Yeah.
And if she can bring him through, then maybe she can kill him in the real world.
Yep. So now she's got all the booby traps set. She lays down and she starts dreaming. She goes downstairs and to the cellar, and she looks for Freddy's glove, but it's gone where her mom had it stashed in that wood burner.
Yep.
So she goes down more stairs. Remember, this is dreamland, so anything can happen in a dream.
Absolutely.
So she goes down more stairs, and it takes her to Freddy's boiler room. And she hears Freddy laughing, and she finds her crucifix and Glenn's bloody headphones at one point. And she's just going through this maze of pipes and steam and all kinds of stuff. And Freddy jumps out, grabs Nancy, and throws her out a window, which sounds funny when you're in a basement. But it is a dream, like I mentioned.
Nightmare logic.
And she lands in her yard out front.
Mm-hmm.
He comes out and grabs her, But the alarm wakes her from the dream. Now awake, Freddy is now in the real world, right?
Yes.
At this point, because they have this little tussle out in the yard.
I don't know. I feel like when he first comes back in the real world, it's in her bedroom.
Yeah. That's where they're back in the bedroom because we do know it's
and then he like
world.
pops up by the bed. Yeah.
Yeah. Pops up, and so he jumps out, and she sets Freddy up for all the booby traps, starts luring him into these different rooms where she set him up, and she yells across the street for her dad, and nobody's answering, so she runs to the cellar and throws gas down. I don't remember why Freddy went down to the cellar.
I don't remember.
I guess he chased her down.
Right, I think she was just leading him around the house.
Yeah, and it ended up in the cellar.
Yeah.
And she cornered him, grabbed some kerosene or some gas, threw it on him, and he no! He yells out and lets him on fire. So finally, her dad does hear her screaming, and he comes over, and they break in the door because it's all boarded up.
Yep.
And she shows him where she killed Freddy, but when they get there, he's gone. And they turn, and there's fire footprints going upstairs.
Yep.
To her mom's room. So she looks up and says, "Oh, Mom." And she runs up the steps. Her dad's not far behind her. And when she opens the door, Freddy is on top of her mom in the bed, all still flaming. And she hits him grabs a chair, hits Freddy with a chair. He kind of fumbles around, and then her dad comes up and puts a blanket over her mom. And Freddy and the flames go out. When they pull it off, it's only her mom laying there, burned up. And then there's some supernatural thing going on where she kind of disappears into the
like
mattress.
She just fades out.
And
there's just like a soot imprint where she was.
And you're questioning now yourself, is this still Dream World? Is this not Dream World? And I think it's made to confuse you.
Yeah.
They put it in there.
A cool effect I've always enjoyed, like in the scene before, like when Freddy's chasing Nancy around the house, when she goes to run up the stairs and her foot sinks into the steps, and it's just like soup or something. Like,
is that what it was?
Well, in the thing, I did read, so there was conflicting stories between Wes Craven and Heather Langenkamp. I think Heather Langenkamp said it was pancake mix.
Really?
But I think Wes Craven said it was like oatmeal and water or something. But either way, it's just it's like a dream logic thing, like where you would step in something like that and it makes you slow, and like, because that's a really common dream thing where you can't move fast enough.
Yeah. That's why I really think they must have talked to some dream doctors
or read some books or something, like, because there's a lot of things that are very general dream things that
they do
nightmare
really
things.
Well with it.
Yeah, like it hits on things that everybody can relate to.
Yeah, everybody says, I've had that dream.
Yeah, I've definitely had the dream where I couldn't move fast enough, like you were stepping in pancake mix on a staircase. Yeah.
And it's very, very eerie and very confusing. You're left not knowing if you're in Dream World or not Dream World, and it kind of makes it hard to do this walkthrough a little bit because of that. But But so
it gets better.
So she turns to her dad and says, "Do you believe me now?"
Yeah.
So she tells him to go downstairs, and she wants some time alone. He does somehow.
Right. Roll with it.
Yeah. So now alone in her mother's room, Freddy emerges from the sheets, and she doesn't run, but she tells Freddy that he's just a dream.
Yeah.
And she's kind of using Glenn's advice here. You know, he gave her that advice. If you pretend it's not real, they can't get you.
Right. If you don't believe it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So as she's reaching for the door, she just turns around, and that's when she says, "I know you're not real." And he lunges for her, and he kind of disappears, kind of a static, and just disappears. Yep. Now we're at the next day. That after Freddy disappeared, and we think that she's won. And I did read that is how Wes Craven wanted it to end.
Yep. I read that too.
Yeah,
It was sort of the happy ending.
Yeah.
And then somebody else thought they wanted a more of an open-ended ending that could lead to sequels.
Yeah.
And Wes Craven didn't like that
Yeah, he
idea,
didn't.
but ultimately this is what we get here.
The money talks.
Right.
You know, the producers of the money that's
Yeah.
worked it all over. They get what they want. So, anyways, the next day she's with her mom. Her mom's still alive.
Right. So, right. So now you have to make a lot of leaps here. Like, so was everything a dream, or is this a dream?
And I've heard a lot of theories, and I think we'll talk about it after the end of it. But
go ahead.
Yeah. So when she goes outside, it's kind of foggy again, and you don't know if you're in dreamland again. But all of a sudden, Glenn and Rod and Tina pull up in Glenn's car, and she's happy. It seems like a nice, happy ending. So she runs out, gets in the car, gives her mom a kiss, and as she's all of a sudden the convertible top closes, and of course it's the color of Freddy Krueger's sweater, which I don't think we really cut. I don't think I really talked about the sweater a lot.
Yeah, he wears an iconic red and green sweater. Which, fun note, the original is the only movie that the sleeves do not have the stripes.
Really? Wonder why they went away from that.
I don't know. Like every other movie, the sleeves, the stripes are on the sleeves also. But in the original movie, the body of the shirt has the stripes, but the sleeves are solid red.
I wonder why they did that.
I don't know. Maybe they just couldn't find one like that. So like, fuck it, we'll put stripes on the sleeves too.
So the convertible top starts going down, and the windows start rolling up by themselves, and you can see Rod and Glenn yelling, "Why are they rolling up? What's wrong with the windows?" And the car slowly starts pulling away, and
Nancy's banging on the windows. Yeah.
And we get a shot of her mom kind of waving to her,
and she's still just oblivious, smiling, happy, like,
and then
those silly kids.
And then all of a sudden, through the little door window, Freddy reaches in, grabs her mom, and pulls her through that little window. And that is the end.
That's the end of the movie. Yep.
So
it's very I mean, we'll get into it when we talk about reviews, but just the whole ending sequence is so open to interpretation. Like, what was real? What wasn't real? Did she even actually kill him or wish him away or whatever? Like, it's very like, what the hell happened? So so that's a unique thing, but all right, so that is Nightmare on Elm Street. So let's get into our rating and review.
The story told. How many never not horror howls will be given?
All right, Rich, your pick. You go first. What is your rating and review of Nightmare on Elm Street?
I really like this movie. I like how, like I did mention during the walkthrough, how Freddy kind of appears in the first 30 minutes, but you don't get the good look at it. Kind of tease you. I mean, every horror movie has to tease you with their killer, and we get ultimate teases with this one and the creepiness of it. And then finally, 30 minutes in, we get our good look at Freddy Krueger and all his scars. I really like that. The music is so good.
Mm-hmm.
The poem and the music. I still sing that poem every around Halloween time, or if it's on, I walk in to try to scare my daughter or my wife. I start singing that little poem.
Yeah.
The acting is good, especially I did write Heather Langenkamp. I think she does.
Yeah.
She steals every scene she's in.
Yeah, she's great.
Even the older actors, because she can't be, but maybe 20 years old, 21, 22.
I would think, yeah.
But she is very, very good actor already in her career at this point. And I think if I had to pick out a week, it would be the mom. I don't think she's great. But again, it could be the direction that Wes Craven was giving her.
Right,
but I don't
act
know.
drunk.
Yeah, she was almost not believable. And then Rod wasn't great neither.
He was-
He was good enough.
He was basically like a caricature of a douchey rebel guy.
Yeah. But man, this movie has it all. It's got the tension, the suspense, the shock.
Yeah.
The the killer. You know, everybody
Yep.
knows who Freddy Krueger is. Even if there was never sequels, we would know who Freddy Krueger
Yeah.
is.
I
I
think,
can guarantee you.
yeah.
And awesome, like you touched on at the beginning, how good a final girl
Mhm.
Heather Langenkamp is. I think Nancy is right there with Sally Hardesty to me, because I love Sally Hardesty
Yeah.
in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And
Jamie Lee Curtis.
Jamie Lee Curtis, she is right there neck and neck with all the greats.
I agree.
All the greats.
I think Jamie Lee Curtis gets all the hype just
Yeah.
because Halloween gets all the hype, but
Yeah,
yeah, she's definitely on that tier.
yeah. So everything about this movie I like. Plus, it's got the nostalgia feel because I saw it in a theater, and
Yeah.
a time and place thing. When you can put that on a movie, it makes you appreciate it and probably like it more than somebody that doesn't remember seeing it for the first
Right.
time and just know they've seen
Someone
it.
who was 1 year old when it was in theaters.
But yeah, just awesome movie making and so iconic. But I am, as far as how many hows I'm going to give it, I've wrote it down and I'm going to stick with it this time. Sometimes I go through the walkthrough and I decide I'm going to raise it or lower it.
Yeah.
I'm going to stick with my original pick of hows, and it is a 4 out of 5 howls.
4 out of
Let me get it.
5. All right. Well, for me, like I said before, I grew up watching the franchise up to where it was when I first got into it. Freddy Krueger was, when I was a kid, he was top tier. Lost a little bit in my adult years, but mostly because I just quit watching the movie. So it's not even really fair for me to say that I dislike it some now. I'm talking sequels, not the first one.
Yeah.
But the first one it's the lean and mean Nightmare on Elm Street. Like, they get goofy and funny later, but the first one's not funny. Like,
No.
it's like we talked about, like the scene and when she's dreaming at school and you see Tina in the body bag getting dragged down the hallway.
Yeah.
That's nasty. That creeped me out as a kid. Just the whole idea. I mean, the concept of it. Like,
Yeah.
you spend a third of your life asleep.
Yeah.
And if
we all
something-
dream.
If something could kill you in your dreams, like, that's terrifying. Like, that's a hell of a concept. So, kudos to Wes Craven, because that's a great idea. And Freddy Krueger is just absolutely iconic. I mean,
Mhm.
you can't not respect what it means to the horror genre as a whole, what
Yeah.
Freddy Krueger is. So,
Absolutely.
so yeah. And like you, I had a rate, because more often than I've had a few movies I've come to the recording and not had a rating yet.
Yeah.
This one I did, and I'm holding the line. It didn't change talking through it. And it is the same as yours. I give Nightmare on Elm Street a 4 out of 5 howls.
4 out of 5.
Which means I gave it half a howl more than Halloween's.
Okay.
And I was thinking about this, particularly with this movie, like when I rate a movie, and what it means to me generally is like, how likely would I be to want to watch this again?
Yeah.
Like when we do our rankings for quick cuts, like right now we're prepping for the 40s episode, and I'm watching these movies, and what determines to me how much where I would rank a movie compared to another is how likely am I to want to watch this again versus this one. And put down to it the original Nightmare on Elm Street versus the original Halloween more often, and it's close. I mean, it's not like a blowout or anything, but I think more often than not, I'd probably rather watch Nightmare on Elm Street than Halloween.
I would too.
So
I would too, for sure.
So with that in mind, I stick to that. So yeah, we are agreed again on this one at 4 out of 5 howls.
All right. Should we, I think we should probably touch on like some theories, like
Okay.
of as far as I've seen a theory, to explain the ending that
For the record, I hate the CGI of the ending with
Yeah.
her getting yanked through that tiny window. It looks ridiculous.
It
but,
does look
but
pretty
go
bad.
ahead.
But one theory that really struck me and stuck with me, and I saw it, I don't know, a year or two ago. I can't remember it was on a YouTube channel. Can't remember who it was, but they was talking about how is it possible that all the way up to where Nancy is locked in her room and she's supposed to meet up with Glenn, but her mom is passed out drinking on the couch, and she
tells her everything's locked.
And this person brought up a point where he thought that after that moment, because her mom dozes off, you're in her mom's dream.
Oh.
I thought that was neat as hell, because I had never thought of that.
Yeah. Which it's kind of to the lore of Freddy Krueger. It ties into Freddy versus Jason. The whole plot of that movie is that no one remembers him, and he can't get anybody if they don't believe.
There's no lore.
So he brings Jason in to kill people to remind them of him.
Yeah.
So if this whole thing, her bringing the hat and all that, reminds the mom of Freddy.
Yeah.
Then when the first time she goes to sleep, he's on her mind, and that's that's a hell of an idea.
I thought it was too.
I've never heard that.
I wish I knew who that YouTube channel was, but it stuck with me.
Yeah, I like it.
And then there's also, I think it was at the very beginning when Nancy, she's banging on the wall and she says, "This whole thing is just a dream. The whole thing." And I've heard people say that they think that's Wes Craven saying that this whole movie is a dream.
Hey, man, and like I said in the beginning, Heather Langenkamp comes back as Nancy in the third movie. Mm-hmm. And it's been so long since I've seen it, I don't remember the plot explanation for her being in that movie. I need to revisit.
Yeah.
To see like how they explain her being alive to come into the third movie.
Yeah. But it's fun to look at different people's thoughts on how they interpret the ending.
And just dreams in general. I mean, it's just basically an infinite landscape of what could be. Like there's no limit to it. It's dreams. So it's a great playground to work in.
Yeah. Really, really good stuff.
Yeah. Oh yeah. All right. Well, yeah. I think we give Nightmare on Elm Street the Never Not Horror stamp of approval here. Well, we are both
definitely
we are both fans. So if you have not seen it, shame on you for listening this far. But otherwise, go watch it and see what you think for yourself. So if you enjoyed the show, please like, rate, review, do what you do on your podcast platform of choice, which does include YouTube now. No video, but you can listen on YouTube. If you want to support us outside of the show, go to YouTube as well and search for Rich Hansel. You'll find his channel, all the action figure unboxing. You can go to steveclarkbooks.com to check out my book stuff. We have merch. You can go to nevernothorror.dashery.com and pick up a coffee mug or an art print or a tote bag or t-shirt. There's some stuff on there, so check that out. Next week will be Quick Cuts, and we're taking a break from the Horror by the Decade series because we need more time to watch some more movies. So we will be debuting a brand new segment on Quick Cuts. I'll announce that on the Facebook page. So, but it's going to be fun. I'm excited for it. It's an ongoing series. It's good stuff. So looking forward to that. So do all the things and come back next week where whatever it is, it's never not horror.
Oh yeah.
Slow moving, Chief?
Yeah, they're dead. They're all messed up.